Interesting.
Well, I wonder if Jason's coming in. Well, I figured he'd be here now if he was.
Should we start calling?
Yeah, I'd like to see if we can get Jim on that one, and Danny's supposed to call myself.
Okay, you got Jim's number?
If I can find it here. Jim, 620-496-6550.
Hello.
We're waiting on the other two to either enter the room or come onto the other phones.
There's one.
We've got Jason here. We're waiting on Danny. We're going to call him, and then we should be good.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and call Danny. I thought he was going to call me, but. Hey, Danny, it's David. We've got Jason in the room, and we got Jim on the phone, so we got everybody we need.
Okay. All right. So how? Is Sean there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean's here.
Okay. Then we go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you want to talk about what we're here for and why we're having this meeting?
Okay, commissioners. Earlier this week, I was notified that two sections or cells of the boiler in the old courthouse were defective and needed replaced. As you remember, we replaced one section last year. It was quite expensive. This to replace has been estimated not to include tax or freight at $12,625. The issue and the reason that we're having the emergency meeting is there are only 3 cells in stock for the vendor for a very old or antiquated system. If any of those 3 cells or more than one of those cells were to be sold or taken off the shelf, it would be next year until we would be able to replace that through this vendor, and we don't know find any other suitable replacements. That would leave us without a heating system all winter in the courthouse. I would recommend, and I'll caveat this with, we did reach out to another heat and air company who was unable to even evaluate the system before this morning's deadline to try to get a lower bid or a cost or to see if we could find other suppliers. But my recommendation to you, with the tax and the freight not included at $12,625, my recommendation to you would be to authorize me to make this repair with anything from the courthouse fund below $15,000, and to bring any other necessity or repairs to you or to follow the purchase policy from that point forward.
Yeah, Sean,
Well, there shouldn't.
so since I've been a commissioner, we've dealt with this thing, it seems like every year. Are we sure that none of those cells that are messed up are under warranty? Because we've done a lot of work. I mean, I know we did some last year and then, what, 2 or 3 years prior to that?
Okay, your question about whether or not the cells were under warranty, no, this is not the cell or the cells that have been replaced in the past. I pulled up the last approximately 13, 14 months of what we've put into this boiler system. In the last 14 months, we put in $16,826.69 in different parts, repairs, labors, and inspections. So the system itself is something that we need to address and replace, but there is no way that the the overall system can be replaced before this year's winter cycle. And the concern is everyone is doing the same thing we are. They're starting these units up. They're cycling through them when they find that they need these parts and we don't. It's going to be an issue if we don't get these parts and we end up having to move everybody out of that building because we can't get heat in it. And I doubt very seriously that we would be allowed by fire code to put in temporary heat.
How many more of these cells are there to replace
On the unit on the unit itself, there are, I believe, 7 to 9 cells complete. But we replaced one last year, and I cannot tell you how often the others have been replaced or when they were last replaced. I would have to somehow find the records for things that are in paper and not on a computer prior to me being here.
there shouldn't be any tax on this, right?
There shouldn't be any tax.
Yeah. Just the trucking, the freight.
Correct.
Sean, I know when my first few years as a commissioner, we did some work on it too, and so I don't know how we'd find that and make sure it's not warranty, but that was kind of my question. So I don't think those things are supposed to go bad like that, are they? I mean, not often.
No, they're not. What's happening is the 2 that we need to replace, they put them back in and sealed them last year. Imagine having to go in and start at one end of a series of coils, and last year having to replace number 6 out of 8 or 9. So we had to start and take out 1 through 6 and then go back through and grind the seats and reseal all of those as we went back through and put that back together and put that new section in. We will do the same thing with these 2 sections. We will take them out of wherever they are at and everything back to the front. We will have to grind and reseat and reseal. But when it was started up, as you remember, we got it past the fire marshal's inspection after the repair, so it was repaired. But when we went to start it up, we couldn't hold water in one section, and we were pushing steam out before we got to over 4 pounds. So we could not bring it up to temperature without pushing water out of one of the cells, and we couldn't get over 4 pounds without pushing steam out of the other cell. So obviously the seal around it, from what I'm being told, is pitted too bad to make the seal or the connection.
No, I understand all that, Sean. What I'm saying is, before your time and when I became a commissioner, we put I want to say $22,000 into that machine.
Okay.
And I want to be sure that I think it was somewhere around that number. Numbers could be miscued, but I know that we put a lot of money into it because I asked a lot of questions then too. And I just want to be sure that none of the stuff that was prior to you is still under warranty.
So who did we use for that, Danny? Did we use this same company?
Jason was wondering if you know who we used for that, Danny. Was this CDL?
I think CDL or Design, I can't remember.
We can go back and look and try to find it, but I don't know that that's going to stop us needing to get these parts right now either way.
Right, no, I understand, but I just want to be sure that we're on top of that too. I mean, I understand we're kind of in the bind right now, so.
Okay.
And I don't have an issue with it, and I'm moving forward on it. We have to do what we have to do.
Okay. Commissioners, that's my recommendation, that you authorize from the courthouse building fund
Yeah, that would work.
from the courthouse building fund up to $15,000 to make repairs on the boiler system. And that from that point forward, any issues follow the county purchase policy.
And I think we'd want to include in that under the emergency clause in our purchasing policy.
Yes, for the reason that these materials and the dated equipment and the limited supply of these materials may make it an emergency to not only hold this meeting, but purchase these immediately before they run out of stock.
Could you guys repeat what Danny said? I didn't get all of it.
His concern was that prior to my arrival, that we stuck maybe $22,000 into this unit. And his concern was that what we're doing now, if any of that was
Parts under
warranty or anything of that nature, which is something we can go back on and look at, but it still won't resolve the issue that we need to make this purchase and move forward. Yes, we can go back and see and look up those records.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we spend up to $15,000 on the boiler repairs.
I'll second that motion. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Sean, I just want to be sure that we, even though we're moving forward with this, we check into those records, please, and we just make sure that if we need to be compensated from whatever company we are, and just, we tackle that issue too while we're doing it.
Certainly.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything
Aye.
else?
Okay.
That's it then.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion been moving second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Aye.